Hi there, my name is Martin Wahl, and I'm a Principal Program Manager at Microsoft. I've been at the company for over 12 years, and last fall I joined the Business Applications Group, which is the part of Microsoft responsible for building our Dynamics and Power Apps products. This is the portfolio that helps manage sales and marketing, visualize data like Power BI, use AI and ML models to form insights, easily program automation, develop new workflows, create new websites, mobile apps, and so on. A few years ago, we created the Industry Accelerators program to help our customers and partners focus on a variety of specific vertical industries. So I'm going to walk with you today an overview of the Industry Accelerators program. We're going to look at the theme and components of the version 1 of the Media and Communications Accelerator. Then look deeply at the new media entities that we've created and the different solutions that we have supported as part of those entities. And then lastly, I'll be sure to give you a demonstration and a walkthrough of some online resources that you can use to get started. Now, the Industry Accelerators program was created to help our customers that are deeply focused in particular industries. The goal is, of course, for us to be able to develop a data model and a set of sample applications that each of these industries can use to be more successful in building and developing and deploying different applications. To date, you can see the number of industries that our team is already involved with. And I'm very thrilled today to represent the media and communications industry to talk about our newest release in that industry. Now, you might not be familiar with what the Industry Accelerator program delivers today. So here you can see that what we do is we build industry data model schemas of data that are specifically tailored around a particular vertical solution. And once we've built that common data model schema, we also build a collection of sample applications and sample codes that make it easier to reference building new applications in that area. To date, we build workflows and business processes, samples and template applications. We help you with industry-connected scenarios, and we offer sample data, machine learning models, artificial intelligence integration, and automation, all dedicated around a single industry. Now, you may ask why, specifically, what's happening in the world. Why are we releasing this now? And I think we all recognize that it is, yes, a particularly challenging time for the media and entertainment, the sports, the travel and hospitality industries. The temporary closure of so many physical spaces and venues has really changed the way that which consumers like ourselves are getting their content and how media providers are changing the way that they create and distribute their content. We're attending conferences from home. We're watching concerts and sporting events from home, almost entirely online. And even live TV broadcasts are being produced by actors in their own homes too. All of this, perhaps, has given us an opportunity to really reevaluate how digital technologies can be changed to help the media business. And I think it also helps us realize the importance of connecting with and understanding our audiences and our fans on a new level, both during and certainly after this crisis has passed. So therefore, we've decided to focus our first release of the Media Accelerator on audience and fan engagement, helping you build new apps that combine data from the physical world with data from the digital world. Our Media Accelerator starts with a data model that contains new data entities in 5 key areas or scenarios. These are guest management, event planning and venue management, sports management and administration, and media product sales management, which splits across ticketing and seating, as well as display advertising. Each of these areas has a number of new data entities that are relevant to the media industry, with multiple new attributes that describe them and allow different use cases. And all of these are now officially part of Microsoft's common data model. So that means you can use them to build new apps with any of Microsoft's cloud technologies using our common data service, such as Azure or Dynamics or AI or ML, Power BI, Microsoft Teams, or even a whole variety of third-party connectors. So here you can see a list of the new data entities that we've created as part of the new Media Accelerator. There are approximately 60 or so of them, and they are grouped by different categories, as you can see. Each one of these entities is specifically part of the media industry. Some are specific to sports, some are specific to ticketing, some are specific to events and venues or guest management. So you can see each one of these entities has been created and is now officially part of the media extension to the common data model. As you can see, all of these entities have a variety of different attributes that describes how the entity can be used and the different data that can be stored alongside that entity. And these attributes themselves have been specifically designed to help build media applications for this area. So in this case, a media event, you can track the number of registered attendees. You can track the league that the event, if it's a sporting event, takes place in. You can track revenue. You can track what season the event is part of. You could even track whether ticketing is required to attend this event, and then use some of the other related entities. So let's take a quick peek at what these sample apps that we've built look like and how you can use them for free to get started. So here's the first application. It's around guest management. As you can see here, we've built a sample dashboard which captures some metrics around the ages of my guests, the zip codes where they come from, the genders breakdown of my guests, whether they're season ticket holders or different categories that I might have created for them. All of these are just metrics that are customizable that I've created based on the entities that we've made part of the Media Accelerator. For example, one of the new entities is around guest categories. The ability for me to create a category and then assign a guest who has attended one of my previous events or purchased one of my products in the past, and then create a category and then assign that category to them. So for example, these are all examples of categories that might exist. Another area that we decided was very important and valuable for media companies to be able to build in this model is loyalty programs. Loyalty programs, of course, allow you to potentially track the purchases or the activities of particular fans or guests or consumers, and then assign them points, which you can track. And so through this new entity called the loyalty program entity, I'm able to create a program, assign levels to it, put people in those programs, create accounts that I can track, and to export that data anywhere I need to go in order to market or provide materials to them. So the area of guest management contains data entities that allow you to create new dashboards and metrics, really slicing and dicing how your guests interact with your services, how they visit your venues, understanding what categories they might be in, tracking their interests, and potentially creating and maintaining new loyalty or frequent purchase programs. The second app, Event Planning and Venue Management, allows you to create both online and physical spaces that you can schedule events and all the activities that happen within those events. This could include registration, attendance tracking, speakerships if you have them, or other sorts of attractions. Here you have our sample app around event and venue management. So event and venue management, as I mentioned, is either the tracking of various physical events or potentially online digital events. Again, we've built a sample dashboard, which is just some sample metrics tracking, active events happening in the next 30 days, or what my attendance at the events has been, or what is scheduled to be. And I might be tracking my profit or potentially looking at the difference between my registered attendee list and the actual attendee list. So this dashboard is customizable, but the power here is the fact that I have all these different entities that now exist. So for example, down here, you can see the entity called media events. This is where I could create and manage a different media event. I've put a bunch of sample media events in here. If I take a look at this particular one, you can see this is a conference. It takes place in the season I've created called Microsoft FY20 Shows. I can track its capacity or whether it's sold out or how many people have registered for it. Obviously, as you create new events, events come with different types. And we intentionally wanted this to be very flexible. So I can use this for any type of physical or digital event that I can think about, from hackathons all the way to lectures or speaker events. You also can see very clearly that we are also giving you the ability to track ticketing. So whether tickets are required or not, whether I want it to take place at a particular venue, which is a physical location, or it could be online. If I go back and click here and take a look at one of these events, like the Seattle Clouds versus New York Scouts sporting game that takes place on June 6th, what you'd be also able to see here is that I am able to track lots of different data associated with this event. We've even added the ability to just track weather conditions, if that's something that you want to track, or the different concession partners that may be offering food or beverage or merchandising at your event. The whole idea is to give you these as native data entities to allow you to best utilize the data apps that you want to build. And sometimes, as you might imagine, these can get pretty complex, right? So for example, in the case of Microsoft Build, we expect a 3-day event to have lots of different events that take place in it, lots of different attractions that might happen, a keynote speaker, demos and exhibits that might take place at this event. Concession stands themselves can be as far-reaching as different food and beverage or merchandising, as I mentioned, or et cetera. So we've tried to make this as flexible as possible. One other area that I will mention and be able to show you is we recognize that ticketing is a very important part of the business flow. So we wanted to be able to give you the ability to load seat maps. Now, a seat map, of course, is a collection of seats. And we have that as a construct in here. Sometimes seat maps are small and sometimes seat maps are very large. And so depending on the venue that you're in, we're giving you the ability to store a seat map with tiers of seats that can be in different categories of seats. Obviously, a seat map has different sections in it. Those sections can have lots of rows in them. Those rows can have lots of seats in them. And so you can see this can be very thorough and complex, but that's to match the venues that you might be supporting. In the third app, Sports Management, we are bringing in new data entities that represent the entire sports world, whether it's professional, amateur, collegiate, electronic, or community sports. And we're giving you the ability to track teams, leagues, players, the officials and referees, track scores and statistics, track attendance. Sports management and sports administration is a pretty wide and varied area. So we wanted to create a series of entities that supported the world of sports. As you all know, sports administration involves the tracking of leagues, of different conferences, of different divisions, often seasons and rounds of play. So all of these now exist as native entities as well. For example, I've created the All Girls Basketball Association. That's a league, and that league can have different teams that play within that league that I can track. Each one of those teams might have a different conference that it's part of, and I can track that as well. If I want to choose and create different seasons for those teams and leagues to play across, I can create those seasons, and those would be attached to different entities as well. Sometimes I may want to schedule events that these sports teams might play in. So for example, here, one team might be the home team, one team might be the visiting team, and I might want to track that as well. If you want to build an app even so that you can track live scoring and share that data, we're giving you the ability to track and score where the game is in progress. And what the score might be as well. If it takes place at a particular field of play, and that field of play has particular attributes to it, different materials that it's played on, or it's different shapes, or potentially you want to use GPS coordinates to track the activities, we're giving you the ability to do that as well. So there's quite a lot of flexibility and power that we've built into this data model. The next app is around media product sales. And of course, while we already have our Dynamics 365 sales product, we are expanding it by including the new media product types that you're familiar with, such as subscription models, data services, tiering, memberships, season tickets, individual tickets, or seating packages, and finally, advertising, which includes display advertising on electronic signage or billboards. So media products is obviously a very important part of the monetization part of the media industry. And there's lots of different types of media products we recognize. We wanted to give you the ability to load that product catalog into the system. We're relying on Dynamics 365 Sales as an engine to power some of this, but we wanted to expand it. So for example, the ability to create a ticketing package is a brand new concept that we've added to Dynamics Sales. You can see here I've created a ticketing package around the event to this Seattle Cloud game. And then I've put a certain number of tickets that I'm planning to sell, as well as associate it with a particular event, that it's associated with a tier of seating at a particular arena. And then I'm going to charge $35 per each seat and then track that. All of that being done within the confines of this particular entity. But that's not the only type of product package that we have. As you can see here, we have mobile audio, mobile plans, hospitality suite plans, membership, sponsorship packages, all kinds of different types of media products that we want to support with this. And of course, this plays out quite nicely because, as you can see here, once I'm using the sales process to quote and create orders, and then use fulfillment. So there's quite a lot of capability of merging the sales process with media-specific capabilities. Advertising is a very important part of the media industry, and we're only just scraping the surface, but we wanted to provide some native entities around advertising. So advertising inside a physical space, advertising on electronic signage, on displays, on billboards, is a part of what we're supporting here with this sample application. I've created an advertising zone within an arena, for example, and that can be all of the television sets that are on the main concourse. And once I create that zone, I can now schedule advertising to occur on that at that particular place. I also can create what we refer to as advertising segment groups, which define a time when that advertisement might take place. I might want to sell advertising to the Storm game in the second quarter, or the Ultimate Frisbee game that takes place during the course of the game. These are all different ways that advertising gets sold. We also recognize that advertising is sold across different television marketing areas. So we've loaded sample data around television marketing areas or active regions of the country that potentially might be targeted, and added that as part of our advertising area. Now, all of these are just sample apps that we have put together to demonstrate the power of data and how it can be used specifically by the media industry. But there are probably dozens, if not hundreds, of different applications that you might be able to want to build for your media business. That could range from self-care to personalization apps to VIP or concierge applications or loyalty applications, and many, many more. And so we plan to keep cranking out sample apps to demonstrate these technologies as part of our accelerator release program. So here you can see the offer that's on our appsource.microsoft.com page, our Dynamics 365 Media and Communications Accelerator. Here you can get information about what the accelerator supports, as well as all of the links to GitHub, to our documentation sites, different screenshots that are available for you to peruse. And you can even play a video from that gives you a guide, a walkthrough guide of how to use the accelerator. Lots more information that you can use here, as well as probably the most important part, which is the Get It Now and Test Drive buttons. The Test Drive gives you the ability to launch a demonstration. of what it would be like to set up and play with this accelerator yourself. Of course, it all works best when you use it yourself. So I'd encourage you to find a way to think about the types of applications you'd like to develop. And here's how to get started. Go visit appsource.microsoft.com and search for the new Media Accelerator. Or you can go right to our documentation page at aka.ms-d365media. So if you're looking for more documentation information, here is a link that you can, or a website that you can pull up about the accelerator with more detail, including all of the entities and the workflows that I've referred to, some screenshots here, and you can read a lot more about this. You can also find links to the other industry accelerators that exist across the different industries and see exactly how those industries are using accelerators to create new applications as well. Of course, if you're a developer using GitHub, you can also search for our new Media Accelerator repo on GitHub and download it yourself there. We are always looking for your feedback and for your ideas on how we can help you develop new applications. So please feel free to reach out, give us your feedback, give us your comments, and let us know what we can do to help you. I want to thank you very much for participating in our media event and for watching my segment on the new Media Accelerator. Happy app building, everyone. Take care.